Now that we've got a few tricks up our sleeves, let's have some fun. So this image, I'm going to create a interesting cracked skin effect. So we take a look at her, and this is a cool photo that I found on Pixabay already. I also found on Pixabay this nice little cracked effect. So we're going to go up under the layer modes, and we're going to keep going down until we see something that works. But before you do that, make sure that you're clicked on the right layer, because if you're not, nothing will happen. So let's try, ooh, that looks cool. That's a little lighter. That looks more realistic, so that's darken, multiply. Let's go down and see if we like any. Ooh, I like darken color too. So let's look between darken and darken color. They're about the same. Lighten, no, none of those really work. That's not bad, but it brightens everything up really bad. So we've gone down through them. That's an interesting look there. Divide. I'm going to go with darker color. It's neat. It has some things. What I like about darken color versus, say, multiply is look at the eyes and look at the lips. So with darken color, it only darkens the area that has color to it. So here it prevents the lips from getting it because all of this is kind of white, and it prevents the eyes from getting it as well. So that's a really neat one, and the hair doesn't get it, and there's not a lot of cleanup that we have to do. So normally if I had it on, I don't know, say overlay or multiply, I would have to go in here and create a layer mask for this and get rid of the stuff in the eyes and the eyebrows and everything. Maybe you want that darker look. But for me, I'm just going to go and I'm going to work easier. This is easy. It's done. I don't have to do anything extra to it. I don't have to go in there, and it looks more natural. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a selection. And I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm just going to create a selection right along this area here. And I'm just wanting to take some of the cracks and make it look like it's flaked off and showing something underneath. Like maybe you could do robot parts, you could do any kind of things. I've just done some kind of weird color in the background, and I'll show you in just a second once I get this done. And it doesn't have to be precise. You know, zoom in, get it nice and neat so it looks as good as possible. And come up there. So I've got this here. It's kind of rust that I found online. And I'm going to sit up here, and I've got my selection made, and I'm just going to add an image mask to it so that it creates that effect like part of it's chipped off. The problem with that is it looks too flat. To prevent that, we just go under FX, and let's go to, we could try inner glows, inner shadows. Let's go with inner shadow. And look, now it looks like it's got depth to it. And what are my settings? Multiply, 100% opacity. I could drop that down just a little bit just to give it that more realistic look. The distance wasn't much, but I could increase the distance to make it look like it goes further. The choke is how strong it is. So I don't want it too strong, but I do want it strong enough to create that depth. And of course, the size is how big it is. And you only see that after your choke point. Okay? So just get it the way you want it, and then click OK. So that's a neat way of adding cracked skin with a little bit of depth to it. And again, you can put anything under there. If you don't like this, remember we can click between the layers, between the image and the layer mask, and we can just grab it and move it around. Well, that's moving the layer mask. You can do that too, but click over here and you can move this around until you get the way you want it. And you can make it bigger, smaller. You can put any other image back there that you want. It's really cool. So we've got some neat effect going on here. Let's add another one. So I'm going to add a new layer. And I'm going to take a gradient from black to white. And I'm going to do a diagonal cut from here to here. Then I'm going to go up under Filter. I'm going to go down to Render Difference Clouds. Once this is done, I'm going to go up under Image, Adjustments, and Invert, or Command I. Then I'm going to use the actual levels mode. So I could do the levels from here if I want, and it be non-destructive. For me, I want to destroy, so I'm going to hit Command L to bring up the levels, and we'll grab the dark and just slide it over until we start getting a lightning pattern with a little bit of fuzz around it. Once you're happy with it, click OK. And then I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation, or Command U. I'm going to click Colorized, and I'm going to go over and give it a little blue tinge. There we go. I'm going to go under here and go down to Screen. So now it looks like little lightnings flaring all around. Well, I just want it in the eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust it here and bring it up around her eyes. And then I'm going to create a layer mask. And I'm going to make a really big brush, set it to black, set my opacity to 100%. I must have hit something wrong. 100%. There we go. And I'm just going to get rid of the extra stuff, the excess. I want it to kind of look like it's coming out of her eyes. So just kind of going around, getting rid of all the excess. You can make the brush bigger, smaller if you want. Using your bracket tools, right bracket makes it bigger, left bracket makes it smaller. And again, just coming around and getting rid of anything I don't want. Anything that looks out of place. I may even move it up some now. I kind of like the way that looks. But let's take and let's rotate it a little bit. And I'm going to rotate the whole thing because I want the layer mask as well. There we go. And bring it here. My next step is going to be to make it so the eyes are seen a lot better. So I'm going to click on my layer mask. And I'm going to click on my brush, and I'm going to set my brush opacity to maybe 30%. And I'm going to kind of brush over this area. And I may do it once or twice so that the eyes are a little bit clearer and you can see it. So now we have lightning shooting from the eyes and just really cool effects. And again, set your brush to 100% if there's some areas you want to clean up now. It gets excited. I get excited. 100, boom. Come in here and clean up those areas. Anything that you need to kind of clean up to make it look like you want it to. You can come in here and delete some of that stuff. Come in here, get it away from her nose, just to give it a really cool look. And now we've got lightning coming out of her eyes. If we don't like that, we can click on this and hit Command U again and play with the colors. Maybe you want a little bit more saturation in there. Or maybe you want red. Anything like that that will allow you to create really cool effects inside Photoshop.